start. So Rushda was a name that got given to me while I was working in a gym when I was 23 years old, and I just shifted from my first career into the next one where I was on the gym floor, we were doing functional training, I enjoyed lifting kettlebells and a lot of other heavy weights. Because I was lifting heavy weights and I'm very short, a lot of people don't know that about me, but I'm actually quite tiny, my ass got huge and my butt just wouldn't stop growing, my thighs wouldn't stop growing, and there was a phase where I grew so much that I ended up not wearing the shoes and training barefoot, and the muscles in my feet even grew. And then one day, my boss at the time, who happened to be my mentor in the fitness industry, he turned and said, "Oh my God, you're such a rush tush," with a big kettlebell tush. And that's how I got the nickname, and it stuck, and I just went with it after that. So what motivated me to start my business was I was working in the gym for someone else, and I worked really, really hard to prove myself in that career, in that industry. And this was about, how many years ago? I'm 35 now. I was 23 then, so over 10 years ago. Let's say 12, I think, yeah. So 12 years ago, it wasn't a female-dominated industry, and I was under the pressure of a lot of men. My boss being a male, it was his gym, I worked in his gym, and he didn't like the fact that I was creating my own client base within his gym, and that women were phoning to ask to train with me and not with him, and he was the one with the experience because I'd just started out in the industry, and everything that I knew was because he taught me the science behind why you were lifting this, why you were doing that, explaining everything about personal training, fitness, movement, and kettlebells. What happened was he didn't like that I was starting to become successful using his business, but I was working hard making him money. And I remember at the time there was a phase where my car that I got when I was 16, was starting to break down. So obviously being a personal trainer, you have to wake up super early in the morning to get your clients at 5 a.m. because there are only so many 5 a.m.s in the day. So that would mean that I would be driving alone in my car, and I would also be leaving work quite late at night, and my car would just not start. And if I'd stop at a stop street or at a robot, the car would switch off, and I knew what the problem was because it was my starter, and I couldn't afford obviously to fix it, because at the time when I shifted into personal training, my mom and my dad said to me, that's not a profession, that's not a career, that's not a real job. And if you do it, then don't expect any kind of handouts from us if anything goes wrong, because how will you pay if your tooth falls out? Because we all know that teeth are very expensive. And so are starters of cars. Anyway, so they cut me off because they felt that this was a rubbish industry, and I needed to buy myself a new car. And I worked so hard in the gym, booking clients back to back all day, and then I decided to buy myself a new car. And the day that he cracked was when I pulled up in my new Mini, bought myself a Mini, pulled up in my Mini, and his eyebrow literally twitched. It was like twitching, his eyes were bloodshot, and he was like, he wanted me to be who he wanted me to be within his gym. And I personally had outgrown it. And at that time, I didn't ever feel too big for my boots. I'm always somebody who needs to learn more. I'm always somebody who is looking at other people, not well back then in the industry, because I just started out, for guidance, for more information, to educate me, to teach me, listening how other people understand other people and women's bodies. And obviously at that time I was learning my own body at the same time. And then he said to me, I created you. You are nothing and you are no one. And let's see who's gonna hire you if you leave this job. And then he fired me. So he fired me, and then 2 days later he tried to rehire me. And he was apparently going to draw up this contract where I would have to wear what he wanted me to wear in the gym, and I would have to behave in the way that he wanted me to behave, and all these rules. And I'm I'm not somebody who deals well with rules, and I'm not somebody who's going to be controlled by a man. Never. So I left, and that's how my business started. It wasn't something where I woke up and I decided, okay, what am I going to do now? What business can I do? How do I make a quick buck? Or me sitting and asking, brainstorming, what is trendy, what is current, or what will be a trend, and for me to jump on an interest of mine. It was a natural progression. It was very organic. I was forced into a situation where, number one, my parents said to me, you've got to make this work. Don't ask us for help. And number two, me being not yet qualified because I was studying through fit principles, not having a space, being in control by this person where I had to make it work. And that's how my business started. My brand as a personal trainer was someone who is a leader, a nurturer, someone who stands beside other women, not somebody who's like, look at me, I'm doing it, now you've got to do it. It's leading by example, by being in those women's shoes and understanding where they come from, what their challenges are, what their obstacles that they're faced with, and how that affects health and fitness and everything else that's going on in their home space. How do you start a business with a small capital? In my opinion, I started my business with my skill, so that's for free. Then what I needed space. So where would I train these women? And that you can also kind of get away with if you're starting out, because there are lots of parks, promenades, parking lots, and public places where you can train clients. Save that money and then invest it in paying rent in a studio. For me, what I did was I found a space within a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, and all I needed was space, because essentially I would train women in groups. That way I would make training affordable for women, which meant that women would train with me for a longer period of time, and if they train with me for a longer period of time, they would see results, because it wouldn't just be a 1 month budget cuts within their expenses for the year. It wouldn't just be before they got married or after a baby. It would be something that would fit into their daily lives, and that's how I built my business. My advice would be not to start a business on debt and to take out big loans to pay rent that you might not know that you can pay, because you've got to be able to work months in advance and be able to sleep at night. So work with what you've got and grow onto that slowly. So starting out in a male-dominant profession and industry, we could say that it's all industries, because for me specifically, fitness 10 years ago, 11, 12 years ago, was a male-dominant industry. And only now, because we have social media, Instagram, things like YouTube, okay, YouTube's been around forever, you are more aware of other women out there that are kicking ass, that are taking control, that are taking up space. But the male, I feel like the men in general get paid better. They're respected easier. They don't have to work as hard as women do. So if you're a female and you're sitting out in any industry, you've got to believe in yourself. And you've got to also, another thing with females is that I noticed that they don't support each other within the workforce. They are so easy to throw you under the bus. I actually hate that term. But there's no women camaraderie, whereas men have that. It's always a boys' club. It's always the men standing up for each other and making it easier to target women, make jokes about women, comment on maternity leave and things like that. Whereas women are the builders of the economy. If it weren't for women, there wouldn't be any kids. There wouldn't be loads of things that back in the day where women were just at home had to do. Now women are filling all the roles. They're going to work, they're being the breadwinners, they're raising kids, they're looking after family members, and they're planning for the future. So the roles of women in the economy and in society and the community has changed drastically. And now with Corona, you can see a lot of women coming into their own, taking control, initiating entrepreneurship, which is excellent. Even if you're starting something small, use the skills you have, like baking, for example. No one is going to gift you a business with a capital in a situation that's not going to be male dominant. So I feel as women we should stand together with each other and we should support each other and look out for each other the way that men do. Why can they do it and we can't do it? And you've got to believe in yourself as a female, because otherwise no one else is going to believe in you. How do I deal with fear, or the fear of having clients not want to pay for a service? The thing about fear is it's always going to stand in your way. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, I would just get rid of all the fear. Again, I mentioned this earlier, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in yourself. You can't be guaranteed anything. So as amazing as I was with women, and as amazing as I was with yielding results in women's bodies and adding value to their lives, 1,000 women could stand up and attest to that. If that client doesn't walk through the door and EFT money into your account, you cannot guarantee cash flow. So you have to do something with the intention. Every single day you wake up, your intention is to perform this task, and you do it with everything that you have, because that's your purpose. So this is my purpose. I would always do things for the right reasons, and that way money will come after. Yes, there will be people that will countless, like even to this day, they want to do the glow cleanse, they want to buy the glow cleanse, they want to do the app, they want to train with me, they want to come to the gym, and they never, that's not guaranteed. Nothing in life is guaranteed, and fear is going to hold you back if you feel like, is someone going to buy this? Is someone not going to buy this? You've got to try lots of different things with the right intention, and money will come afterwards. So not many people follow you on Instagram, but you want to start a business and now you're scared. So there's a common thread with a lot of fear, being scared, and this notion that followers on Instagram and YouTube or Facebook or Twitter guarantees an income. Again, it doesn't. You can be super, super popular, but if you're selling grass to people that live in the fields, no one's going to buy it. And if you're selling something for the wrong reason, people see through that. People want the essence behind a brand. They want something that the brand stands for. They also want things that they need. So the point about popularity on the internet doesn't equate to the quality of the service and whether or not the product itself is enjoyed or has yielded results. Word of mouth, and that is your working ad, is the lives that it's changed and the impact that your product has on someone. So being popular and having 1,000 likes on Instagram doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. If your product is a scam, if you are a liar and you don't even believe in yourself and your product, you're not going to order from that person again, whether that person has 100,000 followers or not. So it's about the service, you've got to have integrity in the product that you're delivering, whatever it may be. How did I get my name out there? So we all know how Rushda came about, we all know how the brand started, and we all know how things went from one thing to the next. How I got the brand out was, I was very active on social media. So Facebook was huge back then. And I would just post statuses about what I was doing in the gym, and I would upload pictures, and I would share results that women would experience with people that trained with me. At the time I was training men and women. And I would constantly share stories and little bits of my day as a trainer. And that created such a lot of interest online, where people wanted more. They wanted more guidance, they wanted more info. And from that, I started offering more info. And back then, blogging started. And that's when I started giving a little bit more information about weight training, running, cardio, yoga, diet, recreational activities. And that's how people started taking in information on the brand. Do I have an admin and finance team? Yes, I do. So I am not great with admin, and I've never been. And over the years, I've been lucky enough to have met my husband, who is a CA by profession. He organizes my tax. He is that guy, looking at my forecast for the year, telling me what I can't spend within the business and what I should hold on with. Ultimately, it's my decision because it's my money, but he does come in on a risk analysis point of view. I do have admin people like my assistant. She's my executive assistant. She runs all the admin of the business. And then I do have other people who assist with other things in the business to take on the workload. It's quite a lot. So to successfully finance your business, I think that you should speak to someone in finance. Find out from them what's the best way forward in terms of taking out smaller loans if that's what you need to buy stock. The only problem with that is if you don't understand the market completely, you're going to sit with stock that you can't sell. If you are going to branch out and get finance for certain things, you have to be prepared to take a loss here and there. Finding the right people to execute your vision is very difficult. You're going to come across many people that want to work with you that are going to let you down. And that's part of understanding the industry or people that are going to uplift you. Who do you want to work with? Who do you want to source? Who do you want to trust with the brand? And that comes over time, I think. As you do get older, you quickly realize the same with friends. Who do you want to align yourself with? Who speaks the same language as you? Who understands your vision? You can't work with people that don't align with those values of your business. If they don't align with the values of the business, it doesn't make sense. Okay. And also for me, I find that if I am progressing and if I'm getting bigger, then I want the people who are around me to be on that same journey. So we must all, it's like an ecosystem. You don't just use people to get ahead, you work with people to get ahead. With the pharmaceuticals, did I do a small course on it? So for me, it's not my area of expertise. I am a user of the product, so there I can give you my feedback on what's gonna work, what's not gonna work. Over the years, I've been exposed to a lot of stuff, from bodybuilding to CrossFit to weightlifting to yoga, Pilates. And with that, there's a lot of underlying layers of what people take in the industry and what men, being a male-dominated industry, tell you what to take. Especially in Cape Town, because everything is so young. So a lot of the stuff and the products in Cape Town and South Africa can literally say that it's one thing and then inside has something completely different. And my brand specifically, I wanted to work really closely with the doctor who was going to make sure that anything that anyone was going to put into their bodies was not going to harm them, that it was going to be stimulant free. So no weird, strange side effects like all the other drugs out there that I have been exposed to. Do I use an app to monitor my socials and schedule my posts? So app by app, do you mean other people? Because yes, there's no such thing. You can't have worked and built so hard on a brand and a business to have a robot turn out generic information, because everyone's gonna pick that up. They're gonna be like, this is run by like a robot, or who's, you know, there are people that need jobs, and you can find someone who can assist you with admin, can assist you with creating content, can help you and take the load off. So let's say I do half of it, maybe even more than half. But I do have an assistant, and she does help me post, and she does help me answer questions, but most of the time I'm there replying to you. So what makes my business successful? And that's quite a nice question, because it means that the person assumes that I am successful. Thanks. But what makes my business successful is that I believe in everything that I sell, that I write, that I say. Every word, every picture, every visual, every mood is something that resonates with me and who I am. You've got to make sure that your intention is in the right place and that you're doing things for the right reason. It's not all about being popular. It's not always about making the most amount of money out of something. If you genuinely love what you do and you take responsibility of the lives that you're working with and changing, then success, it's a no-brainer. There've been lots of challenges along the way building my business, especially because men, number one, want to come in and interfere and tell me who I can be and who I can't be, which is why I decided to leave the 2 gyms that I was at previously, because the gym that I did move to, where I paid rent in, he turned around and felt that I was taking up all the space in his gym as well. And it's another man, I know, just roll my eyes. So then I thought, you know what, I don't need a man. And I feel that a lot of women might be disheartened by that, not feeling that they've got that male support, that protection. You don't need that. Don't be disheartened if people stand in your way and tell you that you can't do something because you're not good enough and that they created you. And lots of other, locally, there are loads of obstacles. So what drives me, keeps me going is my 2 new additions. I wouldn't know if you would call 2 years and a few months a new addition. But being a mom, I think it just elevates your thirst and your hunger to be successful, to make a name for yourself, to build a legacy that you can take care of your kids, teach them about work ethic, teach them about integrity, teach them that if you follow your passion and if you work really hard, that eventually it's going to pay off. You can train with me by downloading my fitness app, Rushda Fit, on the Apple Store, available for iPhone. You can also download my lifestyle app, which is Rushda Life, available for Android and Apple. And you can download my ebooks and join my challenges worldwide on rushtush.com. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and share it with your friends.